Greetings once again, Blade fans. For this one, I have to do the whole Crocodile Dundee thing. Well known to everyone. Well, that's not a knife. That's a knife. Yes. Today we're taking a look at something new from Kansept, the Korvid 3X, the Korvid XL. Where did I get the 3 from? That's another knife I'm going to show you. This is the Korvid XL. It is the largest in a line of Korvid Cleaver style knives. Here we go. Oh, I mean, I'm not a big collector of Cleaver style knives. I think I brought two others out into the wings on the table here to compare, but I think this is it. And I have to tell you, I've got a new appreciation for the breed. Okay, this was sent to me for review by Kansept Knives. I thank them very much. Got it here, I think, in like about a week from a conversation we had on Instagram. They reached out to me, wanted to know if I wanted to review some of their newer offerings, and I said, yeah, sure, why not? It's not too often I get knives provided for review. I sense that there are more on the way. Good folks out at Vostede have sent me a number of things. And I will give you my unbiased opinion on this knife. As I said, honestly, I don't go out of my way to collect cleavers, but I can see the appeal, mainly because I usually like to have knives with points on them. And this is pointless, in a good way. Look at that big flat end. I want to call it a point on this. It does have a point if you hold it this way. So, and you can cut with that point for sure. Very much in kind of a Warncliffey fashion. Now, what we're looking at here is an interesting scrimshaw sort of a design. By the way, this is a G10, which is a very, very light blue. You may or may not be able to pick that up in the video, but it's not white. It's actually a very light beyond powder blue. And what they are showing you here is the adult and the child fists meeting. Kind of a unity of generations, I would think. And it has kind of a scrimshaw appearance, as I said, with the lines on it and the gray tones there. So interesting offering. It's got a gray coating on the blade, and it is from 154 cm steel. See if we can find this for you here. XL Korvid. Now, it is a Koch Tools. Let me pronounce that correctly. Koch, like Coca-Cola. Koch Tools Design. Almost forgot. Koch Tools. We've got an absolutely usable choil here. So we've got a big swale there for your thumb. My thumb fits perfectly with the size of my hand. If we hold it back here, then we encounter significant jimping, basically big bumpy sort of jimping, not little grippy jimping, but you really don't slide on this, aside from the fact that the coating's fairly slick. So that's going to give you some nice slicing capabilities. Let's put the old tape measure to it and see what we've got. Backing out just a skosh with a big knife. So, okay, if I go to the point and go way down, got almost 9 inches, like 8.9 inches overall. We have a blade of 3 3/4 to the handle. We've got a cutting edge of 3 1/4. And blade stock in millimeters. It's not going to be too thin. 3.5 millimeters in inches, 0.13, and the handle's very slim, 0.58. I said slim for the size, really. You know, I was surprised that that's 0.58. It really is, you can see, for the size of the height of the handle, very, very slim in the hand. At the tallest point, it's 2 inches from the spine to the edge. Over here, it's like, the same. Looks smaller. In the swale there, it's slightly less. So basically, it's a 2-inch tall knife with a handle that, if we go back out here, roughly is close to 1.5 inches high. It's fairly comfortable. It's tall in the hand. You can see my fingers just meet my palm there. I'm hanging on to this. You know, it's not going anywhere. And we're going to need to catch the weight, and then we're going to see if there's any weight relieving on the inside. Here we go. What we've got is a 8.6 ounce knife. Okay. For some of you, it may be a pocket buster and you're over and done with it. Let's see what the weight relieving situation is on the liners. And they are visible liners. And yes, we've got a series of slots, quite a few as a matter of fact, on both sides, a few more on the show side than on the liner locking side. We have a significantly thick liner. You can't really appreciate it there because it is dished out, it is chamfered with good access by the thumb. And I will tell you, once you get past the detent, it just drops shut. We have a flipper tab that is not jimped, but is contoured, and you can definitely get your finger there and it goes out quite easily. It's got enough of a detent to where I can't shake it out. Probably with a reverse wrist flick, you know, like this, you could bring it out if I had enough room there. It's got a fuller, and we can get it out with the fuller if I don't slice my fingers in the process. It's a fairly slick blade, so I'm not getting a lot of traction on that fuller, but I'm sure there are those of you out there that can reverse flick it. That might make it pretty fidgety for you. And thumb studs. So I like thumb studs because they're always positive. And if you wanted to, you could roll it out quietly in front of folks instead of scaring them to death. We have a deep carry clip, just about 100% deep carry if we angle it that way. And it is not transferable to the left side. I'm seeing the past few knives I reviewed ending up that way. And it does have the button head screws. I think I would like to see flathead screws on this, but we've got a tall enough clip there to where, at least in my experience, it doesn't hang up too much, but they're fairly tall. So one thing I would recommend to Kansept is to use flat screws and maybe inset the clip. Now, it's you can't always inset the clip because it's an extra little production step, and sometimes the thickness of the scale doesn't warrant it. Because this is, I think I said 0.58, it's got fairly thin scales. Wide open construction, barrel spacers, standoffs, 3 of them. And there is a lanyard provision, just a nice clean hole right there. As I said, ability to choke up, you've got it. And liners are thick. And I would look at the liner here and not right up there. There's a relief there for the liner to bend and flex. So no worries here. The engagement on this is like, pass the camera, about 40%. So you've got some room for wear there, but at the same time, it is absolutely rigid. This runs on bearings, to the best of my knowledge. See if we can take a peek there. I haven't broken it down. Yep. That's a good question. No, looks like nylon bushings. Definitely looks like nylon. I'm going to need to check their website, see what they're saying. Well, they're not saying whether it's on washers or bearings. I'm going to say it certainly looks like washers to me. I can see 2 white nylon washers. Maybe there's more complex stuff there. I don't know, but here are all the specs. And you can see that, yes, it's flat ground. This was on the micarta one, so don't look at that. This is another model. But they do, and it's by Koch Tools, and they're very well known. Here's some of the other variants, and they make a tiny little Korvid cleaver, if I can find it. I don't know if I can find it. They made a special edition. It's that sprinkled donut thing. Seems like everybody's doing that. But you can see we've got lots of variants, lots of sizes. I'm going to be sending you some, or giving you some links in the description for you to check that out. Let's look at some other cleavers. Leave it to Cleaver. How about that? Remember that one? Here is the Freeze 3x0 light, or O knife, really. And you can see that is as long and it is fancy, but it is nowhere near. You can fit 2 of these heights into this Korvid. Here is something called the Mense by Trevisa Knives. And that's the, I think these are the 3 cleavers that are in-house at the moment. You can see this one's much shorter and has an interesting kind of slope into the point there with some lightning holes in the handle and the blade. And that's a liner lock. Trevisa makes some nice knives. Check them out. I did a review on that one as well as on the O knife Freeze. That's also crazy drop shot. And this big boy, by virtue of the weight of the blade, definitely drop shot. What if we compare it to the Griptilian? We can see that it is definitely about 1 inch longer than the Griptilian. And blade close to the same. How about Ontario Rat 1? Ontario got bought by another company recently. Everybody's concerned. We'll see what happens. Exactly the same length. But again, you can fit 2 of those heights of this Korvid XL into the Rat 1. Take another look around, and if I have some on hand, why don't we, before I do this as an afterthought, as I do sometimes, see what the out-of-the-box sharpness is. I have not touched this up at all, and this will be demonstrating the sharpness out of the box. I like to work with half a sheet of paper. It's just easier to handle in front of the camera. So can we back out a little more? I don't know. Okay. It's like Wizard of Oz. I don't want you to show you the people behind the curtain there. All right, here we go. Slicing test. Oh, yeah. Whoa. This is a giant razor blade out of the box, folks. Whoa. They did a great job with the edge on this one. And I can't get the paper off the textured background. All right, taking another look around. There are other handle variants on this, so check them out. I'm going to be sending you a link to Amazon where you can buy these that was provided by Kansept. And just a really cool design, particularly if you're into this style and profile of knife. It's a handful, and when you snap this puppy out, you will impress your buddies. And even those that maybe don't care for knives. I could see maybe a butcher wants this as a nice little pocket cleaver. You never know. Well, that's the Korvid XL, designed by Koch Tools and made by Kansept Knives. Hope you enjoyed this. Don't forget to give it a like and subscribe. I'll be back soon.